Spurs 3, Palace 0. Where do we start?
We start with our prediction, right?
Jordan,
You're all frozen, mate.
you're a robot, mate.
Let me restart my internet.
Say that again.
This is fuck off.
Hello.
What up,
Luke,
Luke?
nice to meet you, mate.
You too.
Steve, go on. Kick us off.
John Moss is a fat cunt.
He's a terrible ref, isn't he? He's a terrible ref.
That's point number one. Point number two, Jordan Ayew has got the finishing product of a man that's fucking taking Viagra for years. Just can't fucking get it up, can't get it going. Joel Ward has got the defensive ability of a League Two player at best. And basically, both our keepers are shit. So we need 3 players, man.
Pretty much sums it up. Let's start on John Moss.
I'll start on a fat cunt. I'll knock him out. I'll feed him some bacon first and I'll knock him the fuck out. Because that cunt cannot fucking referee.
We have had terrible luck with referees this season, to be fair. Now, listen, I'm not even excusing, so we'll get into Wilf as well. I'm not excusing what he's done.
Wilf
but
can fuck off from the club.
The lack of consistency with the refereeing is outrageous. I mean,
it's Premier League now. We've got the best league in the world with the worst officials in the world, hands down. I used to think that what's his name?
What, Uriah Rennie?
No. Oh, what's his name? The current referee, one of the current referees.
Lee Mason?
No.
Michael Oliver.
Michael Oliver. I used to think when he first came about, I thought, this guy's good. This guy's good. But this guy has slipped big time to the point where he's just about better than everyone else, but he's awful. So if he's awful, the rest of them are shocking. And I've said this since God was a boy. What happens when you're in work, when you do what you do? What happens? You have reviews, you have training, you have different areas where people focus on things that in their minds, from what they see, from what they look at, you can do better. Why are these referees not held to task? Why are these referees not sitting in a room on a Monday morning after the weekend's games where they've been absolutely ripped to shreds by all of the pundits, all of the main journalists and the various important people? Why are they not sitting down in a room going, right, you did this and you could have done that better, and why didn't you do this? What do you think could have been done there, this and what? None of that happens, because what happens, and it's a guarantee, the next weekend of games, the next round of games, they get worse. And the weekend before, us as fans sit there thinking, can't get any worse. But it does. It's unbelievable. I mean, the first yellow that Zaha got, the bloke's jumped up in the air like he's been blimmin' kicked and he weren't even touched. And if that's a yellow, in my mind, I thought that VAR was there to look at the contentious decisions and rectify anything that's a mistake. That was a clear mistake. Granted, when he was on a yellow, what Wilf did was unforgivable, but the first one was never a free kick, hands down.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how that can even be given in the first place. It's beyond my comprehension. Sorry, Luke, I'm having a rant.
It's outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Luke, what was your thoughts on the refereeing display?
I mean, refs nowadays, you expect them to do what they normally do, is dish out yellow cards like left, right, and centre. I watched, the QPR game just went an hour ago. The referee was literally, he had no control of the game. Literally, he had like 20 players fighting each other. giving it a handbag and everything. One referee, he couldn't control it all. And then all of a sudden, these officials come over and actually helped him out. And then the fourth official helped, saw one of the incidents on the touchline. Why can't the Premier League spot out simple things that's happening on the pitch? Right.
Just a quick, sorry to cut you. Quick update: Newcastle winning 1-0.
Okay. Sanchez.
Look at the smile on Steve's face.
I'm going to rinse United fans tonight.
Wait till the game finishes at least. Sorry, Luke.
Yeah, that's fine. Sanchez, that was never a yellow card. He just fell over like a crybaby. I mean,
Why are you fall over, Luke? The thing, when you kick someone, what happens when you kick someone in football? Where do they go?
They go on the floor.
No, where do they go when they're moving? If you kick them, where do they go? They go forward every single time, don't they?
Yeah.
If you kick someone, do they jump in the air? No, because the trajectory and the movement's not possible.
Yeah, but when you make small contact on someone, on every single footballer, when you make small contact, this is what pisses me off about football. Sorry for the language, fruity language today. Sorry.
If you think yours is bad, mine was a lot worse.
Okay. When you make small contact on one of footballers, they go down so easily. It just really annoys me. Just stand on your feet.
Yeah, but no footballer does that. None of our footballers do. No one else's footballers do, because they're all looking for those little inches that gives them that feet, that gives them the yards, that gives them the meters, because they're always looking to find a way to get an advantage. And they all do it. But unfortunately, the only way it can be controlled is the officials can make a stance and they can start to stamp down on it. But they don't. They allow it to happen. What happens from the 70th minute in every single game? The time wasting kicks in. Whether it's us, whether it's someone else, it doesn't matter. And they'll sit there and they'll go like that on their watch. And they'll go like that and start waving it. But they do absolutely nothing until about the 85th minute. And if it proceeds to carry on, then they might book someone. What they need to do is just send someone off, and then everyone will know, shit, we don't want that. So you just nip it in the bud. But they haven't got the balls or the guts to do that. But what they've got the balls and the guts to do is side with the big teams. And the big team bias happens every single game, whoever's defined. So in the Leicester-Newcastle game 2 games ago, when Maddison went down and Lascelles just slight movement out with his leg, and Maddison's seen that. He's touched his leg deliberately and gone down. It's a penalty. Now, if it had been the other way around and Lascelles had done it to Maddison, it would not have been a penalty, because the big team bias kicks in every game. So whoever's defined to be the better team, the bigger team, they side with. And I don't understand that. It should be purely neutral. It should be whoever has done whatever they've done, and it's a penalty or it's a free kick or it's a contentious decision that's got to be made because it's the right decision to be made, then you've got to go with it. You can't go, well, no, I can't really give that decision to them because they're the bigger team. That's bullshit. It's happening far too often. Nate was ranting about it a few weeks ago, and he's 100% right. You can't do that, but it's just happening every week, every game, because the referees are allowed to get away with it. And it's just not acceptable. It really isn't.
It's terrible.
Jordan, it's good to see you clearly.
I'm still not sure if it's working yet, to be fair.
It is. I can see your face, and it now looks like you've got 2 eyebrows instead of a monobrow.
I appreciate it.
That wax you had today, by the way, is looking good.
Thank you.
Go on, George.
Well, before I got interrupted by internet issues, shout out Virgin.
Stop looking at that porn, mate.
I cleared my history and my cookies, mate. That's all I can do. Yeah, I said at least I got a prediction right for once. And
You're actually catching up.
yeah, I was pretty happy about that one. I'm not gonna lie to you, Rich. I was just gonna say that if you haven't watched the stream before, I would highly suggest it. It's very, very good watch. Very interesting to hear more about the women's game because it's just not talked about enough. But
It really isn't.
I didn't catch what you guys were saying, so sorry if I repeat what you guys were saying. But
Starting off with John Moss.
Okay. The refereeing performance was. I think Dreadful's a bit too nice. I was seeing some people on Twitter pulling out the race card saying that he only sent him off because he was black and stuff like this. And I just thought, no, you're an idiot, mate. But like, don't get me wrong, the refereeing performance was shit. But you can't just start pulling stuff like that out of the bag because it's just not true.
You're 100% right, Jordan. The refereeing performance is just a small segment which unfortunately affected us slightly. But what I can't understand is this hoodoo that we've got playing against Spurs at their stadium. For some reason, it's like we walk out, it's like, oh, we need to respect this lot. We need to give them too much respect and do nothing against them, not take the game against them or anything like that. We just need to let them control things, and we might just try and do, I don't know, a counter attack here or there. What the hell is going on? Why do we keep doing that against specifically Spurs and when we play Chelsea? I don't understand it. It really irritates me. Those two teams in those two games when we play away, apart from the time when we beat Chelsea 2-1 with Benteke, I just can't comprehend why we're not up for it as a team, as a collective.
Yeah. Even that game against Chelsea, I still think because I was at that match, and it's still the same thing. We had no confidence. I feel like because all 3 goals was scored in the space of 12 minutes, I think, and once that Benteke chip went in, we went back into normal service as usual. It was just lucky that Chelsea didn't turn it on for the rest of the match. Really.
I mean, the really weird thing about it is that we battered Spurs at home, and it was a complete replica of the game against them yesterday for them against us. They battered us. We had a player sent off, and they beat us 3-0. So it's all square in love and war from that perspective. However, it's just really bizarre how it was just the same game. But them against us rather than us against them. And not one player was up for it other than Mitchell.
Yeah.
You know, I thought Mitchell played better. I thought Mitchell played better in an attacking sense when Zaha got sent off.
But Mitchell, and it sounds a bit harsh to say this, was at fault for the 3 goals with the ball coming in. Ward was at fault for 2 goals. And as a combined left and right back, we got some issues there that we need to resolve. We've got to stop those crossings coming in. And how Ward was left Moura and Kane to be unmarked, it's absolutely appalling.
Yeah, and I think Anderson should have at least jumped when Moura jumped over him.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking. Well, I get that the commentator said, "Oh, the desire, all this, all that," but come on, man. Lucas Moura's not 6 foot, and our centre back 6'2". If he just jumps, Moura's not getting anywhere near that ball.
1 second, Nate. Can you turn the light on in your cupboard?
Seeing as I've done 4 shifts in a row, fuck you and your cupboard jokes, you little dickhead.
Big up, Nate. How are you feeling, by the way? You feeling better?
Yeah, I was. You know what it is? I actually felt worse feeling sick than watching that Palace game because I thought, I know I got gassed in the predictions saying we beat Spurs, but when I really went, Nathan, the only result we've ever got away at Spurs since we come back to the Prem was a 0-0 draw when Balassi made Ericsson look foolish. That's it.
Yeah, but Nate, I'm going to back you on this, Nate. I'm going to back you big time because I'm telling you now, and Nate will agree with me this, if we'd gone out and played the same way we played at home against Spurs, I guarantee you that would not have been the same result. And I guarantee you that Zaha would not have been sent off because Zaha would have taken the game to them like he did at home. And that was the last time Zaha played well for us. Since then, he's been utter dog shit. And we allowed them to dictate the game. We allowed them to pass it around like we weren't even there. And we weren't even in the game, even up to the point where they scored in the 30-odd minute. We were just kind of matching them, if you like, at best. But we didn't do anything. We didn't challenge them. We didn't create anything.
I think the first 15 we were good, and that's it.
First 15 to 20 we was good, but after that, you know what it was? It's like Liverpool settings under Roy. Walk up, hand over the 3 points, hope we don't get beat too bad, and fuck off back across the river. That's all it is at Tottenham away. And that, do you know what it is? I can understand if we're going away at Chelsea and Arsenal, the bigger London clubs, and we don't want to go out and get beat too bad. We went to the Emirates and got a 2-2 draw. Probably were unlucky to get a 2-2 draw. We're not scared of Arsenal, but we're scared of Spurs. Really? A team we slapped 3-0 at home.
But you've got to ask some serious questions. How can we play like we did at home, but we play so opposite to them when we go to their place? And it doesn't matter which season it is. It doesn't matter whether it's White Hart Lane or the new stadium. We do it
or even Wembley,
game after game. It's like, just take the fucking game to the team that you're playing against. It doesn't matter.
Do you know what it is? I'm very easy to say. If we go down in a blaze of glory and we lose 4-3, I'd rather that. If we make a game of it, I can live with us losing. What I don't want to see is white flag settings before a ball has been kicked. What really angered me was watching Expressions get gassed beating us. It's like, mate, are you that salty over the 3-0 beating you took at Sellers?
They are very, very salty.
I've got them big time on Twitter this morning.
Don't get me wrong.
Someone bit
John
hard.
Moss, right? John Moss made everything. John Moss is just fatter Mark Clattenburg. He's been eating hella Battenbergs, that little fat hobbit. He was shit at Chelsea away because he was the referee for the Chelsea game as well. Where the minute a Chelsea player went down, yellow card, free kick. Pius player goes down, nothing doing. So when the big clubs, like Jurgen Klopp today is crying about, oh, it's not fair that Burnley don't have as many internationals as us. Here's an idea, Jurgen. Let Liverpool finish in 10th. That way they get no European football, drop out the cups early, and just focus on the league. What are you crying for, you fucking fool?
Let's get into Wilf. Because
massive prick. Let's get rid of him.
He definitely now has divided opinion.
Listen, right, I'll say it how it is, and I'll say it straight. You've got what is defined as a club legend, 400 games plus, nearly 100 goals or whatever it is. However, at 29, the maturity that guy has got is absolutely pathetic. If you're that good as a player and you get taken out, it is a compliment. Wake up, smell the coffee. At the end of the day, stand back and go, I'm that good. I'm getting taken out because I'm that good. Don't stand up fucking moaning and going at the referee and crying like a bitch and trying to cause problems and getting into people's faces. What do you think that is going to achieve? What have you done for yourself? You've made a bad name for yourself and everyone now targets you. They take you out. They know you're going to react. And it always happens against Spurs and it always happens against Southampton and a few other clubs as well because they know that they can get under his skin, they can get him to react and they can get him to behave in that manner. This guy has had over 400 games for his club. He's not a leader. He's got no leadership skills whatsoever, and he should be showing an example to these young players that are coming through, not behaving in that manner because what he has done is let the club down massively. And it's unacceptable. It's and in some ways, the karma for us is that he's now banned, and now we need to do something different. Now we need to give someone else a chance, and that's the bit that I'm happy about because this season, aside of the game against Spurs at home where we won, he's done absolutely nothing this season. He gets the ball, he doesn't run at anyone. He turns around, he passes it back. Now it's like he's lost all confidence or he just can't be bothered, and he's just showing that now, and it's ridiculous. And it's becoming a liability, exactly what Jay Burrs just said. It's a liability to us because now that exposure is causing us problems. What we're better off doing is playing Elise, if he's fit, and maybe giving Rakzaki a chance. That's my opinion on it. And it's time to sell him and make some money back. Because at the end of the day, when he turns 30 and his contract finishes, he's going to leave anyway. So you might as well make something for him.
Yeah, but see, the thing with Zaha is if you don't fall into the narrative of, oh, it's Wilf, he's a legend, he's this, he's that, right? You get flamed on social media, which is cool. Listen, I had a bit of a disagreement with Patrick from back of the nest last night, but it was a very amicable debate. It wasn't a case of I was calling him a prick or he was calling me a prick. It was a genuine good debate about Wilfried Zaha. I understand that Zaha's only been sent off now twice in his whole career in the Premier League for us. So it's not a case of, oh, he's that kind of player where he's a red card magnet. No, he's not. But it's the petulance that's pissing a lot of people off. It's one thing, like, when Wilfried Zaha was getting absolutely clamped every single week a few years ago, everybody kept saying, oh, get on with it. That's a sign that you're a good player. Just get on with it. Only our fan base was saying, where's the justice? Where's the bans for these players committing red card offences? Like that challenge on him against Watford a few years ago. From, what was his name? That absolute vegetable. Yeah, Capu. Yeah? Watford fans, oh, he deserved it. He's a prick. He's this, he's that. I said, this is why you're begging a rivalry off us. I've got more hatred for them man in SE7 than Watford, and you know that's me saying a lot. But what I'm trying to say is that as much as people want to protect Wilfried Zaha because he was there in the not-so-great years of the Championship and was there for the playoffs and got us promoted in the playoff final, won the penalty that got us promoted, people are forgetting when he first came back, he was looking to go back to Man United. He wasn't looking to stay at Palace. It's only because we were prepared to offer them some money, they willingly sold him to us. Since then, he's been a very good player for us. This season, I'd be forgiven for mistaking him for a skinnier Benteke from the last 2-3 seasons because Benteke was getting the same sort of shit. Nobody was defending him. And if you were an outcast. But because it's Wilfried Zaha, he is immune to criticism to the majority of our fan base, which is dangerous. If it's a case of Wilfried Zaha has the odd bad game, fair enough. He's had several bad games this season. And there's nobody actively, apart from Steve, possibly myself and a few others, actively saying he isn't good enough.
Luke, what's your thoughts on Wilf?
I'm a big fan of Wilf. I've always have been. I think he's been a fantastic player for us. I think it's not an attitude problem. I think it's an age problem. He's 29. He's slowing up a little bit. You can just tell it's maybe a mix of age and a mix of maybe trying to get the service to him. I mean, Mitchell, there's a few times, I'm going to criticise Mitchell a little bit. His defensive attributes are brilliant, Mitchell. But when Zaha's like, he's like back to goal sometimes. That's my problem with him. He's always back to goal. He's not looking to run beyond, and then he's not looking to run beyond, and then Mitchell pings it forward. He's not looking to do that. I was literally near the front, literally down Mitchell's side. Zaha always, all the time, back to front, all the time. He's not looking to go forward.
The problem with Zaha is he's been accustomed to being Crystal Palace. Everything that is Crystal Palace is Wilfried Zaha, and it is categorically not. And the problem is that arrogance and that ego, combined with the fact he doesn't want to be here, combined with the fact that he's tried incessantly for 2 seasons minimum to try and get away from the club, it's not good enough. He's one game he'll be brilliant. The next 5 to 10 games after that, he's going missing. And this season, we've had 18 games so far, and he's had 1 good game. Other than that, he's just been absolutely poor. He's not taking anyone on for any reason. Granted, it may well be that people aren't making the runs at times they haven't done. But ultimately, if you've got that ability, use it. Make the difference. You're the person who can make the difference. So show it and prove it. If you're not willing to do that, just say, I want to go. I need to go. It's time for me to go. And we'll sell him and we'll make some money for him, because no point having a player that doesn't want to be there.
Steve, but I don't think he wants to leave. I think the problem...
he does want to leave, Luke. He does want
Hands
to leave.
down, he wants to leave.
I
Hands
think it's,
down, he knows and he feels he's bigger than Crystal Palace.
but I think it's an age problem. Maybe
Well-
you're right. Maybe we should cash in on him, but it's an age
When he was
problem.
27, Luke, and he was 28, and now he's 29, that same attitude has been getting worse and worse each season.
Well,
but
what he
he's
did
slowing.
shows why he hasn't got a big move.
But
Let's
he's
be real
slowing up.
about it.
He is slowing up.
Yeah, he's lost a yard of pace, but still, what he did yesterday shows the main reason why he hasn't got that move to a big club, why he hasn't gone back to United, why he hasn't got a move to Chelsea, because his attitude stinks, and that's just a fact. Like, like, he's a dad of two kids, two young kids, and his kids are gonna grow up and say to his friends, "My dad is Wilfred Zaha." They'll go, "Oh, he's a good player, but he was a bit of a prick." And how do you think his kids are going to feel about that? They're going to think, oh, well, he needs to set an example.
And that nails it, because at 29 years old, when you've played for a decade for one club, aside of a short move to Man United, and you've got over 400 appearances, and you've been taken out, and you've been pretty much the most fouled player in the Premier League each season, aside of a couple of seasons with Grealish, you have to stand back and go, people take me out because I've got the skills and the ability. It has to be the mindset of, this is a compliment, not the mindset of, oh, everyone's against me. I'm going to fight everyone. I'm going to argue with everyone. I'm going to flap around, wave arms around, and I'm going to kick off to the referee, and I'm going to moan, because all you're doing is you're making a precedent for yourself. And the referee looks at him and thinks, he's behaving in the same way again. Or he's gone down and he's rolled around and he's starting to dive a bit. And that's something he hasn't really done, because he's always had a low centre of gravity. But there's been a number of occasions where he has dived this season, and it's that desperation to get people booked or get free kicks and stuff. Just run at the players and do what you used to do best. Cause the problems, and then the results will come, not the other way around. And like you rightly said, Lee, at numerous occasions he's got his back to goal, he gets the ball, and he passes it back, whereas he should get the ball and his first thing should be to run at the player in front of me. And he ain't doing that. And it's rendered useless choosing the guy and putting him in the team, because you'd much rather have someone who wants to play for the club, and he's not playing for the club. He's just trying to play for himself right now. And that's the simplicity of it.
Does anyone remember when Steve Parish came out in the summer and said, we're lacking another player after the transfer window ended? Maybe that guy was another winger. Maybe we might need another winger in January.
It was at Jeremy Boga. That's the
Jeremy
guy we were
Boga,
trying
yeah.
to get. But
It was either Boga or Daryl Dyke, because we were looking at that young American striker in the MLS as well.
Yeah.
But look, let's be honest. We can believe any player we want, but quite frankly, if we cash in on Wilfred Zaha, we need to get as little money as possible so that Man United don't get a significant chunk of it. Because let's not forget, they still get a percentage of whatever we get from him.
But they get 20% of it. But I mean, it's
25, is it not?
The whole thing is an
25,
irrelevance now, Nate, because the guy's 29. He's 6 months away from being 30. He's got 1.5 years left on his contract, and you need to make money because guaranteed he'll turn 30. The contract will come at the end, and I'll bet my life on it. That guy is not taking a new contract with us. That guy knows
Steve,
if he will go somewhere else, his agent will be hankering for some kind of pay rise and a big signing on fee. And we don't need players like that. We need players that want to fight and play for the club. And he ain't that now.
Steve, you and I both know the best part about this football club is that we've always had underdog players play for us. Players that everybody else has written off. Look at the likes of, let's go with Mark Bright, for example. He couldn't get a sniff at Leicester, came to Palace and became a household name. I'm not trying to say that Wilfred Zaha is of that caliber, but we've always enjoyed having players that nobody else wants, and they become much bigger than they were. Balassi was a prime example. At Bristol City, he was a bench warmer, right? The difference between Balassi and Zaha was that Balassi grafted to get his move to Everton. Balassi was working tirelessly, whether he was away at AFCON, whether he was with us. You never had to question that Yannick was playing for the shirt. Wilf, on the other hand, when things weren't going his way, went crying to the referee, crying to whatever manager we had, and decided, oh, well, I'm Mr. Crystal Palace. I can do whatever the hell I want. But because the club's media channel are so good at promoting Wilf as one of the best young academy players we've ever had, and he's definitely in that category, people are blinded to the fact that he hasn't turned up for a number of seasons on numerous occasions. And you're thinking, this guy has got all the ability in the world to become an absolute sensational player. He could easily play in the Europa League, maybe the lower end of the Champions League. I wouldn't necessarily call him a start of a PSG, for example. But his attitude has stunk ever since he was a young kid. Anything went against him in the past, he'd cry. And he hasn't changed at all. He's the same age as me. He's only about a month or so younger than me. And I'm thinking, like...
One thing, though, Nate, the one thing that all opposing fans, I mean, Twitter means fuck all in the big scheme of things, but I get absolutely raped a new arsehole over Zaha's behaviour. And they're right. I can't defend the guy anymore. You know, at 29, there's players out there that are 18, 19, 20. Look at Mitchell. When he gets fouled, what does he do? Does he get up throwing his arms around and flapping like it's the end of the world? No, he just gets up, gets on with it. Because people like that have got a footballing brain and they realise it's a compliment to you when you get fouled because you've been too good in that moment. Rather than him thinking the world has got to fucking bow down to him and like massage his oversized ego. And and all he's doing is making a rod for his own back because every time he gets fouled now, you notice how many times he actually gets fouled and doesn't get a free kick now. Because referees look at him and think, I'm not going to give it to you.
I hear that. But see, this is where some people needed to kind of see that maybe selling him a couple of years ago would have been the best thing. Because as much as people were saying, oh, but if we sell Wilf, we'll get relegated. I don't think so. We still had some very good players to cover the loss of Wilf. But because the club have been so wrongly brainwashed into thinking that no Wilf equals no Palace.
Jordan, can you leave Nate's Wi-Fi alone, please? The thing is, Nate, sorry to interrupt there, but the thing is, one thing in football that is always constant, what is it? It's change. Change is constant in football. And there's life after certain players. Because players age, players start to go downhill, they lose their ability, they lose a yard of space. Of pace. So life has to go on. And we keep lauding up Rakzaki. Liverpool are all over that kid at the moment. They are tapping him up like no tomorrow. And we could lose him. He's the type of player that needs to be played and given that chance to show himself within the first team because he's got the ability. And, you know, Zaha at 29, soon to turn 30, he ain't going to be around forever now. And do we want him playing like the way he is? Absolutely not.
I agree.
Youth.
But the reality is we're all wanting to see our younger players come through. We want to see Wells Morrison, Omalabu, Raksaki, to name three. We want to see these young players come through because we've been starved of young players coming through the club for God knows how long. I think the last one was Tyreek Mitchell, if I'm not mistaken.
And that was only because of injury. And Hodgson had no choice. And I guarantee you, on my life, if someone had turned around when we had Wan-Bissaka and said, I'm fit enough to play, you would never have heard about him and we never would have had the 50 million. Same with Mitchell. You'd never heard of him. If Ward had turned around on that day and said, I'm fit, Gaffer, he would have been in regardless. And we wouldn't know about Mitchell right now, in my opinion.
I'm just going to come in on these 2 points here. So Tom Clark, welcome. He always comments as well, to be fair to him. So thanks for doing so. You know what? I wouldn't say it's a team of misfits, but I think we're imbalanced.
What's that word, Rich?
Misfits.
You said misfit.
Steve, shut up.
Sorry, mate.
Misfits. I probably did say misfits as well.
Say that 10 times in a row as quickly as you can.
You know I'll flop. We're definitely imbalanced. I don't know how we fix this. And funny enough, whenever it's not Anderson and Gahey, we have a problem.
Yeah, but also we also have a problem when one gets injured. So when one is out, we don't have an option. We don't have someone that we can rely on. Granted, and Nate said this in the last couple of weeks that Tompkins has been good, but he's not the level of Gay and Addison specifically. I feel we probably need another central defender
I agree.
from
We
somewhere.
need
Whether it's
we
giving
need
a
two
kid a
additional ball
chance
playing centre
or
backs,
signing
basically.
someone, I don't know. But
You know what I had flashbacks of when Kane got his goal. I had flashbacks of Cahill and Dan running back, trying to defend from fast running players. That's the kind of PTSD I got when watching that goal back. And I think that I get that we need another centre back, but I think we need another centre back like Mark, someone who's actually got pace. Because Anderson's
Yeah.
not the quickest guy in the world. Because Mark sweeps up for him if they get away from Anderson. So I think we probably need another guy, another centre back with a bit more pace about him.
But have you also noticed that when we play three at the back, we crumble? We can't. We're just. It's not possible for us to play three at the back. It didn't work yesterday, and it's not worked in several other games that we played three at the back. I hate that tactic. It really doesn't work for me. If we had better players, fair enough, but we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that takes
Let's-
time because we're still in a rebuild, remember? Because bear in mind, Nathan Ferguson was the very first start of this rebuild, and we only saw a bit of him coming on yesterday. So, as much as, yes, we know that James Tompkins, Martin Kelly going forward are nowhere near going to be here probably at the end of next season. Well, sorry, this season, should I say. The beauty of it is that even if we do let some of the older players go, we're still going to have to bring in younger players to replace them and probably become an even younger team because we've been starved of seeing younger players come through. We can't match most teams pace for pace. And there are teams not much younger than us that were outrunning us last season because we had static midfield, static defense, and a front line that couldn't be asked half the time, namely Wilfred Zaha, and to a lesser extent, Ayew and Benteke.
I'm struggling also with Edouard. When he's played in his correct position, he's caused a lot of problems. But for some weird reason, we're either trying to make him drop off the front person, or we're trying to put him on the wing. Just can we just stop that? It's
I
not
think, yeah.
working. It's
He
just
just
so
needs to
irritating.
be pinning defenders back.
Specifically with the fact that Benteke was out yesterday from COVID. If you're not going to play someone up front and you're just going to get them playing off as effectively a false nine or just drifting out to the wing, when the ball does come in, there's no one there. So what's the point?
Yeah, but like I said, it's still very much a rebuild. I'm not at all saying that we shouldn't have options for when we lose players, but we've needed to see significant revamp of the squad the last 3-4 years. We haven't had the luxury of that. Now we have got the luxury of that because obviously John Textor came in and bought a stake in the club earlier on in the year. But obviously, yesterday's game, and I'd argue the Southampton game, you could see there were significant problems in midfield and defence, and you're thinking, if it's one of the big boys, this could get really ugly. Now, obviously, you would have seen the Man City Leicester result and thought, oh, well, Leicester didn't do as well as us, but we caught City probably on a bad day and took full advantage of it. But they don't come around every week.
No, I mean, the Spurs game, the first game that we played, and the Man City game, for the first time. Sorry, no, that's a lie. So those two games this season and the United game last season were the first times for a good 5 seasons where we've bizarrely shown no respect to the team we were playing and we just gone at it. And it leads me on to say, is like, if we can do that, we know we can do that and we can get results on the back of it. Why is it when we play the big teams, we play like we're shitting ourselves?
Because we're too nice, Steve. That's just the be-all and end-all of it. There's no point in trying to ask.
The classic thing is, though, Nate, is I've always said it all the while I got old in my arse. If you're attacking a team, don't matter who you're playing against, if you're attacking a team, how can they attack you? How can they cause you any damage? They can't. It's impossible because you've got the ball and you're taking the game to them. They're the team that has to worry about you because you're doing it to them. If you then sit back and go, come on, guys, we respect you because of who you are. You take it to us. That's when it becomes a problem. And that's when you lose the 7-0s like you did to Liverpool and the 4-0s against like Chelsea and things like that. It's just, don't do it. Just play everyone like you want to win and show them
but
who's boss.
Steve, we've been conditioned to just surrender before a ball has been kicked under the previous manager and previous managers before him. The last manager that ever showed any kind of attacking intent, albeit very rarely, was Alan Pardew. And even then, with Alan Pardew, you were questioning his substitutions, let alone his team selections. So it's not a case of we've just had bad luck against some of the big teams. We've been unlucky in some cases, but the majority of the time, you just know we're not going to bother. We always raise our game when we're away from home against the big boys because we've nothing to fear. But at home, granted, Spurs is a different story. But at home, I don't think we've ever beaten Man United at home since we've been back in the Prem.
No, we
As
haven't.
close as we've come was draws.
What do you do at home? You try and make your home your fortress. We never seem to want to do that. I don't, and that's just another weird thing.
Because
It's
we
just
surrender,
really
Steve. That's the
odd.
thing. It doesn't matter whether we're home or away. The previous manager was just happy that we don't get beat too bad. And that mentality is still somewhat seeped into the team because the majority of those players are still here. Yes, we turfed out a great deal of them in the likes of Townsend, Van Aanholt, to name a few, James McCarthy and them. But Ward, Ayew, Zaha, Benteke, Schlupp, James Tompkins, all of these players are still here, having come under several different regimes. Vieira's trying to make us more positive and more attacking, but we all knew he couldn't wave a magic wand to make us world class overnight. And I'm not saying you're saying that.
Yeah.
But look, me and Rich have been saying this the whole season. It takes time. Results like this are going to happen. It's disappointing to lose 3-0 away at Tottenham, where, let's be fair, Tottenham aren't amazing. They're not Tottenham under Pochettino. As good as Conte is, he's not getting them to where Pochettino got them. Because Daniel Levy doesn't spend money. But you look at, for example, our performance against Everton. At home against Everton, our record, apart from the win just gone, shocking. And I was thinking, we don't normally beat Everton at home, so I can't even be confident of a win. But we played them like we were the away team. We're like, no, I saw this, we're going for the win, and got the win. When it's Tottenham away, we just surrender before a ball has been kicked. And that has stemmed from White Hart Lane, Wembley, and now the new stadium. And that's come from years of managers that just don't want to get beat too bad. That's the issue we've had. We've had firefighter managers who are afraid to get smacked up too badly.
You know what? And it always comes down to this. I mean, the fact that we're once again annoyed at our level of performance and the result shows how far we've come. Because there's some games you would have looked at the calendar and you've just written it off, you know. But we're now actually like, oh, you know what? We should be doing better here. We should have given this a go. We should like. There has been a mentality shift.
But with that, we beat Man City. We were brilliant in that game. We beat Wolves. We weren't brilliant. We was good. But since then, guys, aside of the Everton result, we've been really poor. We've been conceding goals for fun, and we've been really poor. Stems from the back. Gaeta has been horrific. His distribution has been shocking. He's made so many mistakes.
Both goalkeepers have been poor. I'm not even going to hear any Gaeta
Butland
agenda.
hasn't been great either.
Both goalkeepers have been gash.
I'm shocked by Butland. I thought he would be better, but
yeah, so did I.
It just appears now that we need a new keeper somewhere, somehow.
Badly.
We need
Henderson?
a right back. We need a centre back.
Fuck
we
it.
need a right back.
Like
If
Joe
Ferguson
Whitworth
isn't fit and can't prove that longevity fitness wise, then we probably need to just cut our losses with it. But we definitely
give him a chance. Fucking hell.
I'm just saying if it turns out that way, because
no, I know what you're saying, but like, let's be fair. We've all wanted to see what he can do.
Oh, absolutely, and yesterday when he came on, that was probably one positive. I'm not going to shoot him down in that respect.
You know what we'll do before we actually preview the Norwich game. We'll somehow try and find a positive, and so one positive.
That was a positive for me. Ferguson coming on.
Okay, yeah, that was my positive as well. To be fair,
and also Will Hughes. I don't think he's really done anything wrong since
he's come in.
finally been given a chance.
Mm.
His work rate's been really good, but what let him down yesterday was who he was playing next to, because they didn't have a good game at all, and just left him exposed quite numerous occasions.
Yeah, but it's alarming that MacArthur is still out, and look how much of a hole MacArthur leaves in our team. Because as much as Gallagher's been rightly getting praised for how well he's come in since he's been on loan, if Conor Gallagher has Will Hughes and James MacArthur to give him license to go forward, we're dangerous. Yeah, because Will Hughes and MacArthur can make them body-breaking challenges that Gallagher can't afford to get. But because Kouyaté is trying to be the tidy player to try and hold the line, Kouyaté is half decent at that. Like, I'd rather Kouyaté there than Luca or Riedewald. Although I think Riedewald probably does deserve a bit more time at the club to see what did we pay Ajax for. Because under Frank de Boer, we never truly got to see why he was brought to the club. As for Milivojevic, he's one of the first names out the door for me. Be it in January, be it in the summer. I don't want him at the club any longer.
Yeah,
I think he's got to go.
Luca, Ward, Ayew and Gaeta, the four that I want gone. Probably add to that list Tompkins and Kelly, because there's no point keeping them, to be fair.
Can I just say?
Go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I spoke to someone today and they said Mitchell's looking world class each game goes along. There's a few things that he needs to improve on. Do you think someone big could come sniffing round for him if he continues this form?
Arsenal already tried it.
Arsenal tried, yeah, but to be fair, Arsenal tried to get him on the cheap and thought we were going to let ourselves be lowballed.
But maybe if he performs and maybe if he gets better,
if it happens, I'm all for it, because we never had an issue with letting our younger players go to bigger clubs. Because if our younger players do well, it just shows that our academy is one of the best that is around London. Because yes, Chelsea's Cobham Academy gets a lot of the praise, but Cobham's in Surrey, so it's not really a London academy. Then you look at our neighbours on the other side of Southeast London. They like to go mad about John Joe Shelby and them lot, but they haven't really had many come out lately. But if Mitchell was to go to a bigger club, provided the money's right, I don't think anybody really can complain, because bear in mind, Brentford closed their academy and we benefited from that. So it's not a case of it's not like we paid, let's say, 2 million for him and we're only getting an 18 million pound profit. We literally took him in out of nowhere and built him up to the player that he is. So it's more important for us to just enjoy while he's here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, if the inevitable happens, and we're not a selling club, but if the talent is there and the bid's right and it works for us and we can reinvest and sign someone else, fine. If the kid wants to go, the kid wants to go. Whatever, it's not a problem. You don't want players to stay that don't want to be there, but ultimately,
Steve, your best mate isn't happy that his beloved team are gone back to their normal settings. Because remember, when they beat us, all of a sudden they were winning the league and all that palaver.
Is that Hamza?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's that say? I've just made my bed. And I'm wearing some slippers. And I've got a shirt with Matt on the back.
I think he might be wearing his Tottenham shirt tonight to hide his embarrassment. But,
Could be that. Could be that.
No, look, with Mitchell, yeah.
Shout out the Tottenham community.
With Mitchell, for me, it's nowhere near as similar as let's go John Bostock, for example. When Bostock came through, the whole fan base was on an absolute madness because he was one of us. Obviously, we all know how that panned out because he fucked off the Tottenham and never played for them, which I thought that's beautiful. I felt bad for him, but it's like, see his stepdad who tried to go for more money. That's what you call karma, mate. You fucked your stepson's career all for the sake of an extra pound sign. Well done, mate. But with younger players coming through now, if they get sold on for big money here, none of us are going to be pissed. It's like, listen, our academy is making us money, which is the whole point of it, spending 20 million on the bloody thing.
But don't forget, Nate, Mitchell is 22 now as well.
No, I hear that, but that's the whole point, is that because he's had a year and a half of Premier League football, he's already come a long way from just playing 23s football and under 18s football.
Oh, absolutely.
Bear in mind,
if we get offered 30, 40 million for him, take it.
Yeah, swipe it. That's the thing.
Can I just say, I think it's going to be similar to the Wan-Bissaka situation. I don't think he'll go United, but do you know where I see him actually going? I mean, Chelsea are struggling at left back at the moment with their left backs and left wing backs. Maybe Chelsea look at Mitchell and give us about 50 million.
They're not giving us 50 million for
Yeah.
Mitchell.
Well,
Listen,
you
I
never
think
know.
They're giving us
I
Conor
think-
Gallagher.
I think that the only way that we will get Conor Gallagher is if we send Zaha the other way
Chelsea
with a
wouldn't
bit-
want him.
with a bit of money on top.
You'll be surprised. At the moment, they got Callum Hudson-Odoi playing there, and you
And
never
Callum
know.
Hudson-Odoi is getting a lot of game time, and I bet you they'd much
And he's
rather
also
have
getting
Will.
200 grand a week, so he ain't going
Mhm.
anywhere.
And Chelsea
Yeah,
need
yeah.
squad depth because their injuries are a bit of a madness right
It's
now.
bad.
Yeah,
the
and
injuries are
and
bad.
all and most of their wingers are very injury-prone players, such as Ziyech and Pulisic.
Pulisic, yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't think that a Zaha would be quite a bad option. And the only way I see Gallagher coming to us, because I don't know about you, but I can't imagine our midfield without him now. That the only way we'll feasibly get him is if that kind of deal happens.
Yeah,
And it'll probably have to be Zaha plus money with the way he's playing this year.
that's a good point. But do we all agree that Ferguson's the one positive?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'd say Mitchell's performance was my positive. I think he was probably man of the match, even though he didn't, for us, obviously.
Yeah, and also Will Hughes just staying in the team is a positive for me.
Yeah.
Because I think him and Gallagher work perfectly together.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Right.
Norwich is a must-win.
Hands
We're gonna
down,
go
has
into
to
that
be a
now.
win.
We're gonna
We
go
need to
into
stop
that.
the rut.
We are going to actually pick our 11, our starting 11 for that game. We'll do it on majority vote. So if it's like 3v2 on certain positions and such. So let's start with the goalkeeper.
Matthews.
Joe Whitworth.
Well, you know what? Matthews was featured on the program, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He might actually get a start.
If he keeps a clean sheet, I swear to God, he'd be like, listen, dump both of them and give Matthews a run.
If he gets a clean sheet, Nate, and he kicks the ball out and finds one of our players, he's got to be number one for me.
His kicking's really good. If you've been watching the 23s, I think he's the top penalty saver in the under 23s Prem, and I think that his kicking out accuracy is amazing.
Is that Whitworth or Matthews?
Joe, I'm talking about Joe Whitworth.
Whitworth, okay.
Yeah, I was like, what's he smoking?
So
I would like to hope that Gaita's fingers healed, or that there's a way that Gaita can play, because I'd
That
rather
sounds-
him.
that actually sounds weird, isn't it? Like I actually wouldn't mind VG back in.
Yeah,
For the sake
VG
of Steve's
too.
mental health, I think he strongly disagrees.
Nah,
VG
I can't compete with that, guys. I can't relate at all. I mean,
Well,
I've
it is
got
a
a better
majority
chance.
vote,
I've
so
got a better
we-
chance of catching a cold than he's got of catching the ball.
All right, let's go through. All right, I'm gonna go VG for this game.
I'll go
Steve, you're
VG
going-
as well.
Butland
VG.
or Matthews?
BG.
Unfortunately,
Say, Steve.
We're
Steve's gonna do a roasting session. He's gonna cuss all of us.
all
Let-
holding corn.
left back we're all going Mitchell, right?
Yeah.
Right back,
Yeah,
Ferguson.
standard.
Ferguson right back. Yeah,
You
let's
know,
go
I
for it.
really hope he can start.
I don't think he will, but if he can, I would.
Joel Ward needs to start in League Two. That's his level.
Centre
Doesn't
back.
even
I'm
deserve a
guessing
testimonial now.
we're
in my
going
opinion.
Mark and Anderson.
They
Yeah.
should both be back, right?
Yes, they should be. GUE.
Sod it. Bring back Scott Flinders for the goalkeeper on the bench for the
What
last.
was that last comment, Rich? That Whitworth is a bit small. Everyone said that about Speroni. Oh, he's a bit small.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
in
to be
fairness,
fair,
Speroni's debut against Everton was just an absolute madness.
It's not in there. Oh, it's there.
here's Jay's team at the moment.
Jordan, what's your mum made you for dinner?
That's not my mum. That's my mother-in-law. Who's that? It's my friends. Hi. Wait, you can't
Does
see
Jordan
you.
behave himself?
All right. All right. What are we saying for the midfield? So who are we putting in the centre of midfield?
Kuyate.
Hughes, Gallagher, Kuyate.
Yeah, I don't think that midfield will change.
It can't change because if Luka Milivojevic is in that team, we're losing 6-0. I'm not even talking gas. I'm serious. Anytime Luka's in our team, I know we're
Here's the trouble,
FUCKED.
Okay.
Left
Left
wing.
wing. Bear in
Edward.
mind.
I think
Can
it'll
we
be
just
Eduardo now.
can we put Edward in his actual position? It'd be nice.
No.
No, I want Edward centre forward.
No.
Something tells me he'll play on the left.
Any talk of Edouard on the left wing is going in the bin. Put him up
No,
as a
no, no.
striker.
He
No.
needs to play where he's
No.
actually been bought to play.
Mateta up front.
Get
you
out of
mad?
here. Are you smoking?
No, that's
Go on.
sin bin settings. Oh, you
Sin
done
bin.
it
Nah,
already.
less of that about
That's
Mateta.
a sin bin. You can have
Less
old
of
5
that
minutes.
Mateta.
You'll come back in 5 minutes.
You're on the naughty step.
Anyway, this is
Mateta.
Oh, my days.
These 2
I'll-
positions are doing my nutting.
I'll throw it out for me in because Eze and Elise both are presumably have COVID. I'm going Ayu left wing, Raksaki right wing.
Time for the rack.
What are we
Can't be
saying?
a good rack.
Return of the rack.
Because at Chelsea when he came on, he looked really sharp.
Rich, you can't beat a good rack, mate.
Everyone loves a bit of rack.
Yeah, Ratsaki has to play. But something tells me.
But will it be in the
this season-
mindset to promote him to the first team?
I think he's smashed up the under-23 leagues enough that he needs another
Yeah.
shot. To be fair, I think he's a joint top scorer in the under-23s league.
Look, the
Luke,
thing
did you
is,
spray, mate?
Huh?
Luke,
Yeah,
did you
let's
spray?
go Ratsaki. Let's go Ratsaki on the right. I would love to see him there.
provided he doesn't get overhyped like Brandon Pierrick did, because we all know how that turned out, Raksaki has to get some kind of a feature in here because, oh my lord, people were going crazy over Pierrick, and that was just like, he's not that good.
Now left wing, this is
You know, I
got
wouldn't
Ayew.
mind. It's got IU written all over it, but I can't see him playing on the left. I wouldn't mind seeing Jeff play there.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'd have Jeff Schlupp playing on the left over IU any day. Because at least
And it-
Schlupp passes.
And he's got natural width, so he doesn't actually cut in. He will actually go on the outside and get across. And
And we've all seen what Schlupp can do. You know, when he's actually put out there and given license to run, the goals like he scored against Bournemouth and various other teams and stuff like that he's done. You know, United, he's been class out there.
But I see Vieira if he plays Schlupp there, I see Vieira not playing Raksaki. I see him playing Ayew there instead. But it is our team, not Vieira's team. So
I'd like to see Scott Banks on the bench. I'd like to see a few of the kids on the bench because if Eze's out, Elise's out, and you know now Wilf's out and stuff like that. Come on, give them some time. It's Norwich as well. With the greatest respect, they're leaking goals for fun. If we go to them, if we play them at home tomorrow, and we don't score 2 or 3 goals, I'll be very disappointed. There's no reason why we shouldn't be putting that team away, in my mind, even with a weakened team like we've got right now.
Big up Nate for jumping in anyway. I know obviously he's been banging out his work shifts and that. So big up to you, Nate.
Yeah, nice one, Nate.
That team should comfortably win.
Yeah.
The key word in that statement, Rich, is should.
I'd like to see Edouard getting some goals as well because he's been unlucky, but it's
Yeah, it's been
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how confident he is right now either.
I'd like to see the tactics around the way Edouard plays change, because when he came on against Spurs on his debut, you could tell that he still had that Celtic mentality in the sense of you lay off the ball and you go and stand in front of the goal and you do what you need to do. But now he's pulling off. He's doing what Kane did last year under Mourinho.
You know what I think it is?
Pulled
I
off,
think it's
tried to
because
be a midfielder.
we're not getting the ball up to him quick enough. And as a striker, when you do that, your natural instinct is to go and look for the ball. And it's causing him to drop way too deep into areas he doesn't need to be in.
Yeah, he's playing a bit like how Benteke has been playing in previous years. And he's not that kind of striker. He's the kind of guy which you need to put the ball through on goal and he needs to run onto it. And you can see it from his time at Celtic if you watched the clips. He is a deadly finisher when he's one-on-one with a keeper.
Yes.
And
Rich.
I don't think that he's had that many times to do it this
I'm
season.
gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go. Right.
Cheers.
Before you go,
Maddie.
Luke, just give your
Need to look in, Luke.
give your prediction.
3-0 Palace.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Up to you,
See you
Luke.
soon. Bye bye.
Big
Bye.
ups.
Bye.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't think that Edwards had a single opportunity this season where he's been through on goal, one-on-one with a keeper, which is what strikers should be.
Good point.
So I
Apart
know
from
he-
his
and-
chance against Southampton, which he should have tucked away, but yeah. I
What, the
would
one
say
that smashed against the bar?
No, the one that Wolf thrust it in when we were 1-0.
Oh, what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about Spurs when we should have scored the other goal, but that wasn't through on goal. He curled it around
yeah,
Sanchez, I think.
and yeah,
But-
another one. The Southampton one, you should have scored.
Hmm.
All right, let's finish off with our predictions for the game. Steve?
2-0.
Jordan?
Any win will do, to be honest. I don't care. We just need a win to get things going and just change the way that it is. But yeah, hopefully a few goals.
JC?
Unfortunately, I don't. I know it's Norwich, but I don't see a win. I see a draw at best. Because I'm just not confident in the way we're playing and all the players that we're down right now. And that you saw it yesterday. We've got nothing off the bench. COVID's hit us hard.
Mm. As the warning that your mother-in-law has just given you about doing the washing up hit your mindset hard.
No. But if it because also if those rumors about Ghana and they want to do their pre-AFCON training camp is real, I use Ghana as well. So
time to bring in the youngsters in.
Yeah, I get that, but there's a thing with bringing through youngsters, but there's also a thing of bringing through too much youngsters and putting too much faith in them, because there's a difference between the 23s game and the men's game. And let's not forget, it's not the men's game; it's the highest level of English football. And it's
you either do that or you hit the transfer market and sign a couple of players.
It's sink or swim completely.
Yeah.
And January is a massive deal for us this year. We need to use up our other Prem loan, and we need to use our free abroad loans as well, minimum.
Yeah, we need squad depth bad.
But if we're talking about predictions, I'm saying 1-1. It's going to be dead.
I'm going to go 2-0 as well.
Any win, I couldn't give a flying.
Yeah, we just need to win.
Just need to win. You need to get those points on the ball. We need to get that 20-point marker as quickly as we possibly can, so we can start playing.
We're on 20. Yeah, we're on
20 right now.
Yeah,
but we need to get another 20 points as quickly as we can, just to put all of that concern behind us.
Yeah, because let's not forget it's still Vieira's first season, and the main thing is just staying up.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
100%.
we can't think that we're too big for that right now.
Absolutely not.
No Premiership
I
ticket
agree.
sign. So yeah, I guess that's it for now. I'm at the game tomorrow, which is
Rich,
good.
what time you there?
I'm coming straight from coaching, so I'm leaving coaching early. Oh, can I leave coaching early tomorrow? I hope I can. Yeah, because I'm aiming to leave coaching at 2 and then make my way straight there. So hopefully I get there for like 20 past.
Okay, ring
Are you sitting
me.
in the same seat?
Are you in a Homesdale?
Up home, so yeah.
Are you
up
in
on
that
the
seat
season
again?
ticket. Yeah.
Alright,
Ring me
I'll
when
come
you get
see
there,
you.
and I'll come and meet you. I'll be with my daughter.
Wicked. Yeah, I'll do that.
Are you there, Jordan?
Yeah, I saw Rich in the seat last against Everton, so I'll go down there as well. And after the match, we'll go around to the same place again. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you are around there, we'll go to the fan zone. And we'll do some match reactions there and stuff that will get uploaded to the channel.
Cool.
Right. Hopefully we can be in better spirits tomorrow, lads.
I bloody
Merry
hope so.
Christmas. I hope everyone had a great Christmas as well, to be fair. What else do I need to mention? I've been in touch with a Botafogo fan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're willing to kind of they're going to record themselves kind of talking about their club, and we'll get it uploaded as well. So Text is doing a lot of good stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
it's amazing the interaction between the Palace fans and the Botafogo fans is
Yeah.
quite nice
Yeah.
to see.
Seems sound. I got one that followed me. Yeah, he's a good lad.
Yeah.
That black
So,
shirt's nice. I might have to buy it. You know.
have you seen the little badge they created with the merger of Palace and
Yeah, the little
Botafogo?
ball
Black
is
and
their
white?
is their
Oh,
badge in the ball.
So-
It's
so-
slick.
Is it the fact that they're gonna? So they're just simply owned by John Textor now.
Yeah, he
Because
owns.
they
Are
were-
they
100%
going to
of
be
that
like
club.
a feeder club?
I think that's the plan.
I would think the plan would be for both to benefit off of. I think that we'd
Yeah.
probably like to send our kids over there, and they'll send their kids
Yeah.
over here, and then just see what happens. Really.
But I think they were close to being bust, weren't they?
Yes,
Yeah,
very
because
close.
they got relegated to the second division, didn't they?
Yeah, because he picked them up for 55 mil, and for a football club, that's actually very cheap for especially a massive club like that.
Yeah, it's a huge club as well. So yeah, the future's bright.
Yeah,
Future's
he's
bright.
got I swear he's got a stake in Benfica as well, so he's trying to get some Portuguese links. So what he's doing's pretty good. Let's just hope that after he's gotten all these clubs, he's not going to rely on the academies. He'll still put money in, and let's hope his money's not too stretched between all the clubs.
100%. So yeah,
Oh, boys.
just a heads up on a few things before we go. So tonight at 10 p.m, all the other clubs, call in, talk about your weekend's performance. At 11 p.m, I speak to a Palace fan from the States. And Steve, you'll love this one, by the way, because you always want to roast. Once we get to 500 subs, we'll have 3 separate streams. One where you're roasting me, so anyone could come in and roast. The next one will be roasting Nate, and the final one will be roasting Jordan.
In my very warm jacket.
I don't think I can bring myself to roast Jordan because his mother-in-law's like happy with him.
Well, we're getting closer and closer by the day. You know,
Yeah.
only 23 to go.
Really?
Yeah.
You and your Mrs. Mum are getting closer and closer by the day.
He started roasting you already.
Listen, John, tell you what I'll
Steve,
do for you. Listen,
I'll give you a plan. I'll give you a
I'll
plan.
keep this solely between me, you, and Rich. I'm never going to tell your missus you said that.
That's good. That's good. Keep it that way. Let's just hope she's not watching right now.
Sorry, mate.
Oh man, can't be a good roaster on a Sunday, 100%. and we are 22 off. We're not far off. We're not far off. And hopefully, Jay, we get the next neighbor at Celeste Park. Guys, as per usual, like, share, subscribe. We should be in a much better spirits tomorrow. We've got Norwich at home. We should be picking up 3 points. Just pick up 3 points. I don't care how we get it. Let's just do
Absolutely.
it. 100%.
All right, boys.
Up the Palace.
Big up yourselves. Up the
Take
Shout
care.
me tomorrow.
100%. Tomorrow.
Laters.
Cool.
Bye.